Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to The Varied Life. I'm Steve here, the retired hobby tech guy who's living in Korea. Yes, I retired in Korea. And sometimes on my page, I will update some information and answer questions about being a retired American expat who just happens to be in Korea. So we're going to kind of focus on Korea. Today's title is Retired in Korea, How to Get an ARC ID, in person, online, or immigration lawyer. There's a lot of different information that you can get, and it's hard to find some good information. Even on Korean government websites, it's kind of, they do an okay job of translating, but I'm really simple, so I need something as apply for alien registration card or your KRC, your Korean registration cards. I think somebody thought that the word alien was offensive. So I've been told that they changed it, but it's generally referred to as an ARC ID. Kind of similar to a green card if you have a long-term visa or an approved visa for a student, work vacation, or whatever it is, you have one of those, and after 90 days you can apply for your ARC ID. That gives you a lot of different benefits when you're in Korea. For one, you can get Korean phone service long-term. You can open up a Korean bank account. You need it to be able to, if you're in Korea on your visa, it's needed and required in purchasing property, doing online shopping. Your identity and your phone is all connected to your ARC ID, and so it's a lot of different benefits that are involved in that. Pretty much any government office that you go to here in Korea will need to have an ID, and you'll have to present your ARC ID because your visa, it'll have your visa status and your address, and you need to keep all that information updated. So it's really an important piece of identification when you're long-term here in Korea, or longer than 90 days. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, we're going to go over this, and there's a lot of different ways. You can do it in person, you can do it online, but you still need to go in person to the immigration office, or you can employ an immigration lawyer, and we're going to go over some of those things. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is how to apply for an ARC ID. It's an alien registration card, and within 90 days, foreign nationals who want to stay in Korea more than 90 days must apply for the ARC. Excuse me. Now, there is some caveats here, especially when we talk about military personnel, military service members who are stationed in Korea with their family members. They fall under a visa system that is an A3 visa. So when a soldier and his family comes over, they present the orders, their passport, and all this stuff, and they're given an A3 status. So that is their visa, as an A3, and they get a SOFA stamp on there, which is a status of forces agreement. So they get special privileges and so on and so forth for being stationed in Korea. So they get to shop the commissary, the PX, and so on and so forth. And they are covered under that agreement. So this has been a question that some people have asked me. Well, how does that differ from a retiree who is retired in Korea? So like myself, well, it ends up that being retired in Korea, I'm not under the SOFA status. And so if you don't have SOFA status or that A3 visa, and you're just like on an F1, an F4, whatever it is, then what happens is that as a retiree, I can get a PO box on a local military base, at least as of the time of making this video, you still can, but I am limited on what I can get mailed to me. So in other words, I can get 16 ounces of mail, in other words, letters, correspondence, things like that, and medical supplies or devices. So, but I can't get Amazon boxes. I can't get big birthday present box from somebody stateside if they send it to my APO, because I'm limited to that 16 ounces. And part of the reason for that is because of the SOFA agreement. SOFA, status of forces agreement, for military members, their families, contractors who are under that A3 visa with the military and the government, and the agreement that the U.S. has with Korea allows them to get Amazon packages, all that kind of good stuff that we all jones for. But for retirees, we're not under SOFA, so we don't get those additional benefits. it is what it is. And if you're worried about not getting your Amazon fix, Amazon will deliver to Korea as long as your purchase is $50 or more. And I've done this a number of times. And you might have to pay a little bit. It's free shipping, anything over $50, but you might have to pay some import taxes or VAT taxes depending on the price of the item. And I think that centers around the $150 mark. So anything below that, you shouldn't have a problem. Anything above, you'll pay to play, is basically what it comes down to. But you can get Amazon. But it does make things easier when you have an art card and then you have a personal customs code, which you need for Amazon, but that's a whole nother video. We'll talk about that in another video. So anyway, on the art card, the alien registration card, basically the first step is to contact an immigration lawyer or Korean immigration office for details. There's two ways that you can go about it. You can do it on your own and do all the legwork yourself, or you can contact a Korean immigration lawyer that has all the paperwork. They can cross the T's, dot the I's, or I don't know, whatever the T-gut and Miums and whatever's in their language, to do the same thing and to streamline that process so that you don't have to go through a ton of legwork. And I will say that when you go to any Korean government office for immigration, you might get some differing information. Whereas if you had a Korean immigration lawyer, they know what needs to be done. And I'll give a recommendation for a Korean immigration lawyer that we used for F1 and F4 visa. I don't get anything out of recommending them. I don't get kickbacks. They just did really good, great service, and the people that we've recommended said that they do great service as well. And I'm old, I'm 58, and I just don't want to go traipsing around Korea and go to some office and then not be given all the forms because Korea is not our first language and so on and so forth. And even if it is, for a lot of Korean spouses that have been gone for Korea for 10, 20, 30 years or more, a lot of things have changed. And so sometimes we don't know what to ask, and the Korean immigration office sometimes will not give you all the information. So I've had some people contact me and say, hey, well, what I ended up doing is going to the Korean immigration office to submit this and that, and they, to find out what we needed. So we went back, we got all the information, we came back and we submitted it, and they were like, oh, no, by the way, you also need this, this, and this. So there was, they didn't get all the required documents. And so that required going back, making another trip, getting another appointment. And that's can be a half day or an all day thing when we're talking about immigration. Definitely have to schedule it in on your calendar. But with an immigration lawyer, yeah, you're going to pay them, but you're paying for the convenience to do everything right. And they will give you the information, all the required documents, and documents that will help make your case easier for the immigration office to process your application. So that's kind of handy right there. I think for my wife's F4 and my F1 visa, and submitting for the art card and stuff like that, I think I can't remember the price. It was for both of us. It was less than $800. I think it was $550. But then you have the exchange rate, so that kind of varies. So yeah, you should get a good deal. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, let's get back to it because I'm rambling. You can also make an appointment by going to the petition application on this site here, the highkorea.go.kr/main.pt. An appointment needs to be made within a period of 90 days. So if you show up and you're planning to stay in Korea longer than 90 days, then you need to submit, first of all, you have to have the appropriate visa. So you should have that application in. And once you apply for a visa, if you didn't get an approved visa before you came to Korea, that'll put a hold on that 90-day until you get the outcome of your visa application, whether it's yes, no, or you need more documents. So the good thing is don't stress over, oh, I only have 90 days, and it's going to take a couple of months, a month and a half, 2 months for them to process. What am I going to do? Don't worry about it. You'll be okay because everything is put on pause, and you're in a waiting pattern until you get the answer for your application of your visa. You'll need to make a reservation. The immigration office is located in the neighborhood closest to you to find the appropriate branch. I do have the list of the branches down below, so you can stop and pause the video, screen capture, and take a look at that. The other thing comes into play is complete the application form. Both in English and Chinese versions are applicable as accessible. That should give you an idea that there's a lot of Chinese here in Korea that are doing this, and there's other nationalities as well, but those seem to be the big two. Select one and complete the application. Select the alien registration option from the forms menu at the top. The applicant must prepare all the required documents before visiting the immigration office, and you can contact to find out what documents are needed. And again, I've heard stories of people telling me that they called and they asked, and when they got those documents and then they showed up that they needed more documents. Korean immigration lawyer just makes everything so much easier. And the one that we used in the area that we live in, our immigration office is in Songtan, which is about 20-30 minutes away from Camp Humphreys area, around Pyeongtaek. The cool thing is that the immigration lawyer that we used, they're in the same building as the Korean immigration office. So they get all the updates. They know all the ins and outs, and that's another reason why we recommend them. You have to visit the immigration office. Imagine that. You have to get the forms, you have to fill them out, give your supporting documents, some photos, and we'll go over that. And the officer will review the application and pay the processing fee of 30,000 won, at least as of this time. An applicant must pay an extra 3,000 won if he wants the ARC shipped to the address of where they're staying. Now, it's 33,000 won, less than 40,000 won, you're good to go. Some immigration lawyers will pick up your ARC card and you can go pick it up. The real high-speed ones will, drop it off at your residence if they're doing business in that area. That's a possibility. So, it doesn't cost much, and once you get that card, it's good for. Can't remember how long it's good for. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. If somebody knows, put it in the description box down below. I don't have my wallet with me right now. Photo requirements for your alien registration card. It's basically the passport photos. And so you have to have a number of these. Must be in color, and it has all these things. White background, no red eye. Glasses are acceptable, except when I did mine, they said no, take your glasses off. Lenses must be free of glare. You're not allowed to wear dark glasses or tinted. So, it is what it is. You're allowed to cover your head for medical or religious purposes, but your entire face needs to be seen. It's got to be in focus, the typical passport photos. When we get down here to the required documents, you're going to need at least, this isn't all, but at least the passport. You're going to need the application form. You're going to need 2 passport photos, though I suggest having more just in case. You're going to have a residency document. Now, that residency document comes basically comes from a local city office, and that resident document is a certificate that shows your entry and exit from Korea and all the times that you went in for a certain amount of time. You got to pay a little bit of won for it, but you have to get that at a city office, and it has to be within 90 days. And somebody told me they had to be within 60 days. So my best recommendation is to get that form, and within the next week or two, go and apply for your alien registration card, so it's within that time frame. If you're outside of that time frame, like we had got ours, and we made a bunch of copies, because we thought surely we will need this more than once, and we did. So when we applied for our ARC card and we turned in our certificate, our residency document, what happened was it was past the 90 days and they wouldn't accept it. So we had to go to another city office where the immigration office was, which was, 5-10 minutes away. Luckily, we're able to get a printout of that and a copy, go back to the immigration office, and because they're interlinked and networked, and we're able to do that. But it ended up being basically a day trip. Note that the officers might request additional documents to further check the nationality and visa. For more information, contact the Korean Immigration Service. And to make things easier with your ARC card and your registration, if they ask, I don't think they asked for banking information, but I think we included some extra information just to make things easier. And any documents that the Korean immigration want, like for your visas, they'll want like 2 or 3 years of your federal tax returns from the United States. They'll need like a year or two of bank statements showing and verifying your income. And I did all that, and then I made an outline sheet that showed a breakdown or recapitulation of that information of, hey, this is how much we make in a year, blah, and put it off to the side. This is the total. This is how much I get for this. This is how much I get for this, which totals this amount. And I did all that along with, and this is our tax return information for the last X amount of years and how much our gross or net and so on and so forth. And so really it was a one-page document that really made it easy for the Korean Immigration Office to process our visas. And I even went a step further is I typed all that up in Microsoft Word, and then I translated that into Korean because you can do that. And then, so I had one in English and I had one in Korean. So I submitted both of those along with our visa applications, and they loved it. Okay, it just made their job so much easier. There's nothing worse than, making things hard for the people who are trying to give you the application approval. Make it easy for them. Tips for ARC registration: be early for your appointment, and if you use an immigration lawyer, that's even a huger tip. The application fee is payable at the ATM inside the immigration office. Again, just carry some Korean won, 30, 33,000, 40,000 won. English is usable at the ATM. Keep the receipt, make copies of it, take a picture to show that you actually did that. The ARC will be given to the applicant after a month. I will say it's not always a month. It depends on the time of year. So when we got here to Korea, we submitted our visa paperwork, and it took 2.5 months to get our visa paperwork. But no, our ARC card actually got done in less than a month. So it kind of depends on the time of year and how busy they are or not. It can be sooner, it can be later. The ARC can be mailed to the applicant's provided address with an additional fee of 3,000 won. Like I said, if you use an immigration lawyer, they can pick that up and you can go pick it up at their office, or you could have it mailed, or you could go pick it up. Cash is important as the ATM and immigration office do not accept foreign credit cards. And again, the whole reason for getting an alien registration card, or Korean registration card as they call it now, is to be able to open a Korean bank account and get long-term Korean phone service and pay your bills and utilities and all of that stuff. Here's some other things. What if the details change? Because a lot of people that come to Korea to retire, they will stay temporarily in maybe an Airbnb. They might stay with extended family, or they might do a long-term rental, 2 or 3 months, and then they will purchase a property later on down the road because they're searching out on where they want to buy property. With that, if your details change, like it says here, update on the name, sex, date of birth, nationality, your residence, your passport information. For some visa holders, the information on the organization they belong to. If any of that changes, you have to update that within 14 days. And this is a prime example because we stayed in an Airbnb and then we did a short-term rental for, I think, like 3 months. And then we bought an apartment. Well, even after you get your approved visa and you have your ARC card, if you move, even after you get your ARC card, you need to go back in and update your address to your new address within 14 days. So remember that 14-day rule. That's kind of important. And really all that does is you just need to go to the city office and say, get an appointment slip, and they call your number, you go up and tell them that, hey, I have a new address, and show them the address, and they will emboss it or change it on the back from your old one to the new one. So it's very important that you do that. Again, it talks about going to the proper immigration office or city office, and they'll ask for your passport and stuff like that. These are the list of immigration offices of South Korea. This is not 100% guaranteed, but this is what I could find. There is one there, and it covers Gwanak-ju, Gwangjin-ju, Gangdong-ju, Dongjak-ju, Songpa-ju, Songdang-ju, Socho-ju, Yangsan-ju, Songnam-shi, Namshi, Gwacheong-shi, and they have the hours, contact information, and so on and so forth. This is another branch office that covers these areas here. I'm not going to butcher those names. And again, you have the contact information on when they're open, and the addresses in English. And then you have the other immigration office in the southern, which covers these places down here. And again, with their contact information. So some good information. You can find this online on a few places. And talking about being online is we're going to talk about this here, this Hi Korea website. And we didn't use this, but this is, you can create an account. It can be in English, Korean, or Chinese, or whatever. And you can do a petition application. You can do an e-application. And civil affairs. I mean, it's like I said, it's just not really. It's not as user friendly as you would think it would be, and so smart entry services. It could be a lot better as far as petition application. Let's look at the guide and see what that says. Civil complaints. And you think complaints would be, complaining or some type of civil lawsuit type of thing. But the translation leaves something to be desired, I think. And classification work, reentry permit, change of workplace, extension of stay, reporting employment, start of work, change of classification. So it gives all these things here. Alien registration, residence report, alien registration application. And of course I have Chrome, so you can get the plugin to translate all this stuff, and it will show you some of the required documents. It's just not a real user-friendly, especially for foreigners. When we look at this, it's just kind of, electronic civil complaints guide. How is that a complaint? I don't understand why it's a complaint if you're, you can make an appointment, you can get, you see, it's just seems kind of strange. So with that being said, I think that's another reason why I like the easy way out of using an immigration lawyer. So and for those people that are in the United States military, you can get an ARC card. It is not a requirement, and as we see here with 8th Army, an alien registration sticker or card is not required for USFK personnel, and obtaining one is optional. An alien card, you can open a Korean bank account, register your lease agreement with the local ward office, obtaining cell phone service, ordering off the internet. There's no age limit for applying for an ARC card. So I've had people tell me that before, and that's not true. USFK personnel are exempt from any obligations incurred by other foreign nationals who possess an ARC card or sticker. So there's the checklist there. Complete the Ministry of Justice Form 34, have a housing contract of like where you live. If you're renting a place or if you purchased a place, then you have to have the purchase documents and so on and so forth. It says one color photo, take 2, I did 4. Original passport, which has your A3 visa with the SOFA stamp for non-active duty members. clear photocopy of your passport data page, sponsor's ID, you'll need that, family ID cards, and some other stuff in here. So you can kind of read that. I'm not going to go over everything. You can apply for an alien registration card below at the Korean Immigration Office without an appointment, and you can do that on post, as we see here. And let me make this bigger so we can see right there. On post at Humphreys for A3 and sofa service, Monday or Wednesday and Thursday, 10 to 1600, closed for lunch for an hour. And that's at the one-stop building, building 6400, or the Mod Hall. And that's their phone number there. You can also go to the Suwon Immigration Osan branch office, which is the immigration office that we went to, which just so happens to be the same building as the immigration lawyer that we used. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 1300. Thursday and Friday is 11 to 1300, closed for Korean holidays. And that's at building Osan Air Base at the MAC terminal there. That's actually on base. So, but there is a Suwon immigration office that is off post, and that's the one I was talking about, where our Korean immigration lawyer is actually in the same building as the Korean immigration office. So that's how they're able to stay up to date on all this stuff. And here's where it even says, excuse me, if you wish to apply it to other Korean immigration office, an online appointment is required by going to that website here. But again, the usability and the user friendliness of that website is lacking. The alien registration sticker is issued in your passport the same day. So there's a difference between the sticker and your actual card. And again, we're talking about military family members who are under the status of forces agreement. You'll get the sticker in your passport, and once you get it, that should be good. Excuse me, but there are some things. Matter of fact, I was just reading this morning how somebody was complaining that they had been to Korea multiple times, and they had a SOFA or alien registration sticker in their passport each time that they came in, but you only need to do it once, supposedly. So it's using up all the pages in their passport book, and they weren't happy about it. And here is what we end up seeing down here. It says the alien registration sticker is issued in your passport the same day, and the alien registration card takes approximately 4 weeks to process and should be picked up in person at the Pyeongtaek Immigration Office. And that's for, again, people who are stationed at Camp Humphreys, I think Osan. You can check that out there. So anyway, and there is the link up there. So matter of fact, I'll put this in the description of the video after we do all this. So yeah, you've got a number of different ways that you can do this. With that being said, you can apply for your art card. But this here is the lawyer that we used for applying for F1 and F4 visas and for our art card and all that stuff. So yeah, really good service. It ends up that they answered all our questions. Again, depending on the exchange rate, it was pretty much hassle free. My wife got her F4 visa. I got the F1 visa, F1-13 or whatever it is, the subcategory of being a spouse to the person who holds the F4 visa. And I think for both of our visas and the art card, I think it was less than $800, $600, $550. But again, the exchange rate is going to vary, which reminds me, the exchange rate is like 14.30, 14.40, somewhere around there. It's really high. So that's less money that you get more for your dollar in Korean won now than when we did ours, which was pretty close to this when we first got here. So anyway, yeah, highly recommend them. I don't get anything for recommending them at all. Just letting you know that we got good service. And again, I do suggest and advise that you're nice, that you're pleasant, that you're polite, no cussing, swearing. Be a nice, civil adult person. Ask questions. They don't speak English. So if your Korean spouse is there, you'll need that Korean spouse to help you with the Korean immigration lawyer. But basically, you could probably even do it with a translator, just take a little bit more time. But they really know what they're doing, and they're certified, they're authorized, they work in the same building as Korean immigration, in the same building, so they're up to speed on all the newest updates, which I really appreciated. With that, would it be something? Would I want to hand carry and do all that stuff on my own? If I was younger, maybe, but I don't want to go back and forth to immigration offices or this office or that office and have to go back and say, well, you forgot this, or the person didn't give you all the information. When you need this, it also implies that you need this and this. I want to do one and done. So that's why I used the Korean immigration lawyer, and I'm so glad we did. And hats off to my wife, because she found the Korean immigration lawyer actually when we were in the United States before we came to Korea. So she asked a bunch of questions, and she searched through a ton of people asking questions and stuff like that. And the immigration lawyer that we showed you answered all the questions, super knowledgeable, went above and beyond, in my wife's opinion and my opinion, to do good work, and they did a great job. Even when we submitted our F1 and F4 paperwork, we had to go to the immigration office. We got there early. You should get there early just to go over everything. And the lawyer is there with you. They put all the documents in the correct order. Boom, they submit it. I think you sign and whatever, and yeah, it's a done deal. It really makes things easy. So with that being said, the ARC card is kind of a thing if you're going to stay longer than 90 days in Korea, whether you're a student or you're on a work visa or a work vacation thing, a digital nomad. The ARC alien registration card, or the Korean registration card as it's called now, is really important to get the benefits of online shopping, identification, and a bunch of other stuff. Korean banking, all of that. Do your bills and utilities. Just makes life so much easier. Is it a kind of a pain to jump through so many hoops? Yeah, it is. It's compared to somebody who came from another country to the United States. We don't really, you come in and you have your visa and you get your green card, and boom, that's it. You just need to provide your ID to open a bank account. But if you're a foreign citizen and you have a U.S. driver's license, you can just show them the driver's license, and that's all you need. I guess if you didn't have a U.S. driver's license, then you would be able to show your Visa card and open a bank that way. But yeah, it's a few extra steps. It's a little bit of a hassle, but if you're retiring overseas, that's to be expected. But the benefits of retiring overseas here in Korea far outweighed some of the minor frustrations or the hoops that we had to jump through. And so, yeah, we just found it really beneficial and a necessary evil at times. But that's what we got going on. So anyway, I hope that explains some stuff in regards to the ARC card and how you can get that done. I'm lazy, so I'm a big proponent of the immigration lawyer. I'd rather have them worry about all the details, and I just want to show up, sign. And one thing, because I had the F1 visa, my wife had the F4 visa, she had to go to a Korean police department and get her fingerprints, and then submitted the rest of the paperwork. For me, I didn't even have to do fingerprints because I was the spouse of her being the F4 visa holder or application. So I just had to sign a couple places and initial, and boom, pay some money. It was a done deal for both of us. And for our visas, it took about 2.5 months. But there are cases of people getting it in less than 2 months, 2 months, 2.5 months. Again, it depends on supply and demand and the busy times of year. So with that being said, that's what we got going on. So I appreciate any like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. That helps with the algorithm. And if you do appreciate the information I put out, there's a link. You can buy me a coffee or buy me a soju. Check the link below. We'll just deal with coffee. I'm trying to limit the amount of soju. Only do that a couple of times a year. But with that, here are some people that have bought us coffees, and all of the money goes back into the channel to help make the channel better, and just say thank you. If you don't, that's cool. I totally get it. I understand it's a hard time in the world and the stuff that's going on, but at least like and subscribe, because that doesn't cost anything except a couple of clicks. So if you do that, I appreciate it. So with that, any questions, put it in the comments section down below. I also have my email that you can see right there. And I am happy to say that everybody who emails me, I will respond back and answer your questions to the best of my abilities, and share the experiences that we had of selling everything in the United States, coming and retiring in Korea under an F4 and F4 visa, F1 and F4 visa. So yeah, love to share the information. I'm retired, I have time. So don't think it'll impose on me or anything like that. I'll get back with you and gladly share what we have learned since we retired in Korea. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to people out there, and we'll do another video. And probably the next video, maybe not the next video, but the next video of being retired in Korea, we'll talk about applying or putting in your Korean mailing address so that you can get Amazon packages, because Amazon delivers to Korea, like we talked about. So we'll go over that, because some people are having problems entering in their address. And I'm going to show you how to do that, but I just don't want to give my address. So we'll have to do some screen capture stuff and blur out my information while trying to give you the information that you need to put your Korean address in there so that you can get your Amazon fix fulfilled. So yeah, look forward to that sometime. Alrighty, that's it. We will see you. It is Sunday morning, about 9:45 in the morning here in Korea. It is cold, 32 degrees. Probably going to get up to about 40-ish. Maybe we'll get some. Looks like we got a little bit of snow. Wow, tiny bit of snow. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Yeah, a little bit of snow. Interesting.